Some of the most hurtful comments that I've read about myself online are, she's fatter than when we got her famous, or she's ugly, they don't like the way my face looks for some reason. I struggle a lot with body image, body dysmorphia, bad eating habits. Getting hundreds of thousands of hate comments per week is a lot to handle.
I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Like, this is messed up stuff that people are saying. People just like blatantly disrespecting the fact that I'm still a human being is not okay at all.
Sophomore year was very hard, and I would go to therapy every week and I wouldn't talk.
Stop! Everyone just picks apart every single thing I say and do and the way I look, and I went to the gym!
Hello everyone, it is me Salem. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about a topic that I've actually wanted to talk about for a while, but I never got around to talking about it until basically now. The internet basically just hates teenage girls, and I think a really good example of this happening is actually Dixie and Charli D'Amelio, the poster children of TikTok. I recently saw this video of Dixie D'Amelio actually on TikTok.
Okay, so I was watching the D'Amelio show on Hulu, and some of y'all haters out there think you're really funny with your hate comments, but this is what it's really like.
It makes me feel like I don't deserve anything, and like I'm trying to do everything I can to better myself, and it just gets worse. I literally got back from the gym, and then they posted a video of just that 15-second clip, and they're like, oh my god, she's so musty. I'm like, shut the f up! Like, stop! Everyone just picks apart every single thing I say and do and the way I look, and I went to the gym!
The comments in response to that clip were all completely hateful and negative. Obviously, we can see in the video she's completely distressed, she's overwhelmed, she's upset that people are constantly criticizing her for every single little thing that she does, for how she looks like, which she's completely valid in her emotions. I think any one of us would break down like that if that was our daily life. It just made me realize just how much lack of empathy and sympathy the internet has towards young people, especially young women. Young women on the internet aren't really allowed to exist without getting made fun of. And because this behavior is so normalized in society, whenever these young women come out to talk about how they're being affected, they're just made fun of and not taken seriously. Because this is a situation where it elicits two responses, right? The first response is to feel sympathetic and empathetic and be like, man, I can't imagine like what she's going through. I hope she's better. And then the second is, who cares? And I just really wanted to talk about social media and how we interact with it, especially in the realm of making fun of young women, and how Dixie and Charli D'Amelio are the perfect examples of that. So as you can tell, this video is going to be a little bit more serious than my usual ones. But don't worry, we're still gonna have fun, but just prepare for this video because it's gonna be super long. So grab some tea, grab your favorite snack, get snuggled up with your fave stuffed animal. I know my last video I talked about how I couldn't find my stuffed animal Octavian, but I have amazing news. I found him! Anyways, but as always, before we get into this video, you guys know the drill. I gotta pay my bills, so here is a word from our sponsor. Thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. Magic Spoon is cereal, but not just any cereal. It's cereal completely reinvented. No, literally, their cereal is nothing like I've ever seen before. That's because Magic Spoon cereals has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. They're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. Like, this is literally magic in a bowl. Oh, maybe that's why they call it Magic Spoon. Not only are my breakfasts quick, but they're also healthy and extremely enjoyable. My favorite flavors are, well, all of them, I'm not even gonna lie. They have a variety pack that comes with 4 delicious flavors, which is coconut, choco, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. You can also pick up their new flavors like maple waffle, cookies and cream, as well as blueberry and cinnamon. Yes, it's that good. So good, in fact, that Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Click on my link below and use code Salem Tovar at checkout to get $5 off your order. What flavor will you try? Okay, let's get into this video. So if you're not new around here on my channel, then you would know that I have beef with TikTok. I criticize it like all the time. I really think that sometimes it can be an overwhelmingly toxic place for young people to be on. In the past, I've criticized TikTok for popularizing toxic trends such as BBLs, but the very first video that I made on TikTok, I talked about how the algorithm has this way of making the most random people famous for doing the absolute bare minimum. And I don't even have to explain further into that because I know that you've seen people on TikTok get famous over the most mundane things. TikToks go viral every single day and they can truly set people up for like full freaking careers, to the point where, you know, some TikTokers now make music and have been invited to the Met Gala. What type of witchcraft? Because I'm trying to get a hold of that. And the two people who have done the majority of this, they have their own TV show. One of them has a music career and was invited to the Met Gala, is Charli and Dixie D'Amelio. And I definitely would label Charli D'Amelio as literally the poster child of TikTok virality. Charli was able to accumulate over 5 million followers within a week of her posting consistently on TikTok. And she gained a lot of notoriety because of her dancing videos. I know that there's a lot of like theories out there as to how she got famous, but I genuinely just think it was just the algorithm doing its magic. If you want to know how the TikTok algorithm works, I really recommend this video of mine because I go really in depth as to how it works. But I really do think it was just a stroke of luck, consistency. She now has 123.0 million followers. So although the algorithm helped her become famous, I really do think a big part of her becoming famous was because of the amount of criticism she received when she was like coming up. And the number one thing that people would comment was, I don't get the hype. But alongside her overratedness was her sister Dixie, who later joined the platform and immediately also got famous in association with her sister. And the criticism that was given to Charli was now also being given to Dixie, which was, again, I don't get the hype. There's a lot of criticism for Dixie and her music. Do y'all remember that iconic bop? I was really sad. Ugh, literally so nostalgic. So basically, she released a snippet of that song that she was going to be releasing, and she immediately got a bunch of criticism of how the lyrics were like weak and elementary, that she doesn't have a good singing voice. And I know what some of you guys are thinking so far. Salem, all the points that you were bringing up are fair, and also you're beautiful, and I love you, and you have great hair. And to that I say, thank you. But what's so bad about calling Dixie and Charli overrated and giving them proper criticism that actually makes sense? Actually, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think these criticisms and opinions are valid. You know, they make sense. The truth is, yeah, they got famous off of doing the bare minimum, like a lot of other people on social media. But I do think there's a difference between valid criticism, like telling Dixie, hey, you should probably try to hire a good lyricist to help you portray the emotions that you want to feel, versus, this song is probably the worst song I've ever heard in my life, please give up, I hate you. Like, chill. Like, it's literally just a song about being really sad, but instead you're really mad. Around like February 2020, both Trixie and, did I just say Trixie? Mattel? Dixie and Charli had an interview where they opened up about the amount of hate that they get like every single day, and how it's basically hundreds and thousands of messages of people just dogging on their weight, their look, how they're overrated. I don't think I really need to dive into deeply about like the type of hate that they get, because I'm sure that if you've ever scrolled into like one of Charli's or Dixie's TikToks, you can easily click on the comment section and see that people are usually being very unkind. Of course, the hatred in the comments are not as bad as they used to be, because I know that Why do I keep saying Trixie Mattel? Oh my god. Because Dixie and Charli have talked about how they had to filter their comments or delete comments because at one point it started to get so out of hand they couldn't even go online without getting like really bad anxiety. Literally, when doing research for this video, I ran into a lot of videos of these two girls crying about like hate comments or how they're treated on the internet, and just simply reading the comments were so like mind-boggling.
People baby this girl. She's going to be 17 next year. The F, she should grow up.
No offense, but her crying kind of entertains me.
What did she expect? Does she actually think everyone likes her? Having haters is also a big part of being famous.
This is unbelievable. She gets millions for dancing like a... Turns out, she also is getting a reality show. I just can't wait for her downfall. Like, some people work 40 hours a week and barely get the 15% of what she gets for doing crap for 15 seconds. SMH.
And this is just scratching the surface. These comments all share like this underlying tone of sexism. The internet hates lots of things, but the thing that they hate the most is teenage girls. Like, can y'all name one thing a teenage girl can be into without getting made fun of? I'll wait. Exactly, nothing. Young women can't be into anything without being put into a box and then getting dragged in that box and then getting it shipped to an island where people just beat you up in the box. Young women can't be into skateboarding because then you're just doing it for male attention. Young women can't be into certain bands without being called posers. And then young women also can't be into things that are feminine because then they're considered trying too hard. And then when they're not into feminine things, they're being told that they're not trying hard enough. It's honestly just a lose-lose-lose-lose-lose situation. And this is so deep-rooted into our society that weirdly enough, there has been almost this consistency of the internet just hating anything remotely associated with teen girls. I think the prime example of this is the Twilight franchise, which is probably known as the most widely hated and criticized film of like all time, besides The Room, which is funny because that in itself is a double standard. Twilight, while objectively bad, has a predominantly female audience and is considered cringy, bad, stupid. Meanwhile, The Room was basically the same thing, you know, bad writing, was criticized for being bad, was made fun of, but predominantly has a male audience. It's in a way ironically widely loved. And this kind of goes back to the argument of what is valid criticism and then what is not valid criticism. The Twilight films are iconic. Like, y'all can't argue with me, it is iconic, but there is a lot of valid criticisms between like talking about the videography, the filters of the film, the writing, the acting. But if you're gonna criticize a film, criticize the film. Why is the fan base getting hate over loving this film? I remember these fans were bullied and relentlessly made fun of all the time in media, even though the main target demographic was teenage girls, and clearly it worked. So why y'all mad? Teenage girls get made fun of online all the time for like simply existing. I can't even tell you the amount of times I've ran into TikToks of grown men making fun of women when it comes to their periods or their makeup, their fashion, how they look, how they weigh, and it's so normalized. It's so normalized, and I genuinely don't know why. And this hatred for young women only becomes stronger when the internet sees young women succeed and achieve a very large platform with a predominantly teenage audience. And it really sucks because even though these young women are giving opportunities and, you know, they have a platform and everything, it's unfortunately like this sick invitation for people all around the internet to just band together and completely destroy their mental health. Like, why are people so upset that a clock app that was made for teenagers attracts teenagers? Now, don't get me wrong, I still have my beef with TikTok because sometimes these trends can be very hurtful. And I do think it's actually incredibly unfair when people get famous for doing the absolute bare minimum. However, there's nothing I can really do about that because the virality algorithm works in mysterious ways. People don't choose to go viral. Virality just chooses them. I will say that audiences have a huge impact in who becomes famous and who doesn't though. It's all about how you interact with people's content. Basically, it's all our faults for making certain people famous. Even if it's all negative attention that they still get opportunities because there's still eyes on them. And it's so cliche to say, but it's true when people say that hate makes people more famous. And yes, with fame does come a lot of hate and negative attention that can honestly be just downright deplorable. A lot of people try to back up that hate with, well, it's a part of their job, they should be used to it. But I couldn't disagree more. So there's this thing that people say to influencers, celebrities, and just people with a platform when the topic of hate comments and harassment comes up. And this saying is, but you should expect it. It's part of your job. Which I hate that saying literally so much. We've already established that virality is not a choice. So how can we expect someone like Charli D'Amelio, who went completely viral within a week at 15 years old, to all of a sudden grow a thick skin, deal with it? Everyone responds to a fight differently. People have fight, flight, or freeze responses. And I truly believe that this biological thing can really be used for how we interact with the internet. If you're Gabby Hanna, you fight back. And if you're Trisha Paytas, you're just gonna make a long 30-minute video of you crying on the floor. And if you're anything like me, then as soon as one of your videos go viral, you disappear for 3 months. Because when you have a platform, everything you do, everything is put under a microscope for everyone to absolutely criticize. I'm not even close to having like that big of a platform like Charli and Dixie, but I have been criticized and sent hate for things that I literally can't help. I have been criticized for my face, for my weight, and the biggest one is my voice. Like, I literally can't change my voice. And these comments generally make me feel really bad. And sometimes they really do end up ruining my day. And I know for me, it has affected me so much to the point where I had to delete comments or put heavy filters on my comment sections, because it really does affect you mentally. So I'm just going to interject a little bit of a story time, I guess. I never really talk about like my experience with online bullying, mostly because I genuinely get kind of embarrassed when talking about it. But I was actually bullied for an extremely long time. I would say for about basically the entire first year of my YouTube career, and I've only been on this platform for 2 years, so basically just half of my time being here. I remember before I even announced that I was making a YouTube channel on my Instagram, someone DM'd me telling me that I was never going to be like my sister. People would say that I was just a fatter version of her. And in my old videos, I had to heavily censor the comments because I would just be body shamed the entire time. And for the longest time, I genuinely felt like giving up. And it's really sucked because even in public, when I would go out with my sister, we had clearly collabed all the time in the past. People would only go up to her and ask her for photos. And I would just be completely flat out ignored. People in real life would not even bother to know my name. They would just call me Penny's sister and completely just dismiss the fact that I'm also a human being. And it really messed me up mentally. And it still happens to this day, and it really sucks. Of course, now I still get hate comments, but I've had to filter absolutely everything. But these are the things I have to deal with by myself in secret, and it really does take a toll on me. And I can't even imagine someone with such huge platforms as Dixie and Charli D'Amelio, and at their age, I'm literally just horrified at the thought, especially because they literally said that they get hundreds to thousands of comments like that every single day. In the video that was shown earlier of Dixie crying about how she gets criticized for every single little thing she does, that is someone at their breaking point. The internet loves to preach about mental health, but in the very next breath, talk about how it doesn't apply to people with a platform. Mental health matters until it's someone who's famous. Sympathy, empathy, and forgiveness are things that just don't exist anymore on the internet. And I really do think the main root cause of that really is just social media in general and how influencers are portrayed through media. The people that you follow are meant to be happy, perfect, beautiful, no problems, 24/7. But there's an importance of understanding that a lot of young people literally do not have the capacity to understand and deal with the amount of hatred there is online. Oh, they're 18, they should know better, they're of age. Interesting, because science literally talks about how when you turn 25, that's when your frontal lobe completely develops. I didn't know basic human decency expired once you turned 18. And I know for a fact, if some of these influencers were to give a lot of these people the same energy that they give to them, oh mama, they'd be canceled within a day. They're literally not allowed to defend themselves because they have to protect this image of themselves of being this happy, perfect influencer 24/7. And I think the argument of hate and criticism should just be expected. It's part of your job. Yes, it's true to an extent, but that doesn't mean that you should just be like, well, I can comment this simply because it's expected. They'll just have to deal with my words. No, They're still a human. Be kind. Like, it's all fun and games until someone actually decides to leave their platform. Yes, Dixie and Charli D'Amelio have done some pretty problematic things in the past, but I don't think it has to warrant negativity and comments that have nothing to do with those situations. Again, there's nothing wrong with criticizing influencers. There's some influencers who truly, I believe, don't deserve their platform at all, and that's when cancel culture, I think, really does come in clutch because they are able to take away that power from people who are abusing it. I do believe the internet can be a very kind, loving, and amazing place. As much as I criticize TikTok and everything, I have been able to find communities, online friends through TikTok. If we have just as much potential to make the internet a kind place, that means people have to genuinely wake up in the morning and be like, I choose violence. And honestly, I cannot give a bigger props to both Dixie and Charli D'Amelio for how they approach these topics. Even though I am not their target audience, I personally cannot see how they can brighten my day or inspire me. I can't see how they do that for other people who are younger than me, and I'm not gonna bash that. They're still gonna be criticized for, you're just dancing. I don't see the hype around that. Honestly, me either. But that's because the main demographic is not for us. It's not for you. So why choose to interact with it? I think the only times that people's platforms should be criticized, you know, like calling them out and stuff, is when people are actively being harmed. But other than that, I just don't think doing dances online is an exception to the amount of hatred that they get. Very often when it comes to younger people, absolutely everything that they're into is labeled automatically as cringy. It just isn't for you and you're mad that it's popular and liked by other people and you're projecting. And there's actually a very good solution to that, which is if you see someone's content and it's clearly not for you, you can leave it alone. Alright y'all, that is it for today's video. I know that this video was a little different. I didn't do my usual like costume changes. It was very much a rant style based video. Please let me know if you would like more videos of me just talking about like how I feel and how I like think of the situation at hand. I felt really strongly about this topic, so I felt like it needed to be structured a little differently. Let me know if you guys would like more rant style videos, or comment down below just some topics that you guys would love for me to dissect. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please comment a duck emoji down in the comment section below. Also tell me about like how you guys feel about this situation. Let me know all the tea because I want to drink it. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram, and I also make music, so go check out my SoundCloud. But most importantly, go do something that you love today. Find a new recipe on TikTok and make it, or just take a nap. That's literally what I'm gonna do after this because I am exhausted, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.